Onyx, they just sent a very cryptic and ambiguous message, in my opinion. And I'll kind of talk about what I think that could be, but did you know that they recently posted saying how we're not even halfway done with 2026 yet? They actually say how 40.1% of the year has elapsed so far. Now, again, this has a lot of meanings, maybe, so I'll kind of break that down in today's video to the best of my capabilities. However, nothing I say is financial advice, and I am not telling anyone to do anything. This is just my personal opinion and my outlook. However, what I think this could mean is that Onyx, they may very well be cooking something. The reason why is because this year so far, we already know they launched the mainnet of their layer 1 blockchain called Goliath. So that's really impressive. We already know that. But on the flip side, if they're putting a message like this, I think it could very well indicate that they're still planning something else, because they're not, why would they do this? No credible project, in my opinion, would ever post stuff like this just for fun. Now, we do see it with some other projects out there that do it for fun, but usually it's very suspect in some cases that I do see. But when it comes to an actual project with a proven track record of actually launching things, of actually, having products, basically, they typically don't do that. Like, those archetypes typically don't make these type of posts for no reason. That's the thing. They actually have usually and typically a reason and meaning behind it. So when people like to say, oh, Onyx, they're just trying to prank people. Well, that's not true, right? I mean, were they trying to prank people last year when they were launching the testnet of Goliath, their layer 1 blockchain? No. Were they pranking people when they said that in 2026 they were going to launch the mainnet of Goliath? No, because they actually did do that. So this is not a project that typically likes to make jokes, in my opinion. A lot of other projects out there, they seemingly like to make a lot of jokes for whatever reason. But yeah, it just doesn't seem like that to me. This is a more professional vibe, more sort of relaxed, not really like other projects out there that try to make random jokes and stuff like that, which kind of makes no sense in my opinion. Why are they doing that? I don't get it. But yeah, besides that point, we have to consider when it comes to Goliath, their layer 1 blockchain, there is a burn mechanism. What do I mean by that? Let me explain. Did you know that 10% of gas fees on Goliath are actually burned? Kind of ridiculous, right? Now, people like to say only 10%. That's lame. That sucks. But we have to think about it. It's the more so of the thought that counts here, because we do know that Onyx is used for gas fees on Goliath, right? And again, if 10% of them are burned, what that only means is that if Goliath does have better adoption, if let's say it has better notoriety, more people use it, basically, what happens is that increasingly there's just going to be more and more Onyx that is burned, in which case that does create this deflationary pressure when it comes to Onyx. Keep in mind, Onyx is a project that already has a maximum supply, and yet still there is a deflationary measure through Goliath, indirectly, in my opinion. So you have to consider that. That's kind of the mindset, in my opinion, that is a little bit different than some other projects out there. Some other projects out there are like, oh yeah, we have a deflationary feature, but then they have an infinite maximum supply. It's like, okay, I guess, whatever. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying that projects that have an infinite supply are bad. I'm not saying that. Like, for instance, Solana and Dogecoin, they don't have a set maximum supply. Their maximum supply is basically infinity. I'm not saying they're bad, right? I mean, they've clearly done pretty okay historically in the past, or very good, I should say, based off what they've done, even though they both have had a pullback as of late, but that could be said for a bunch of other projects. But I'm just saying, I am not discrediting other projects out there that have an infinite supply, but I'm just saying that when it comes to Onyx, even despite having a set maximum supply, it still is focused on a deflationary measure. So that kind of showcases their, I guess, serious vibes, in my opinion, because if they weren't serious, I don't think they would do that. They could have easily said, oh yeah, Onyx is used for gas fees when it comes to Goliath, but we're not going to burn any percentage of that. That could be the case. We see a lot of other projects out there launch a blockchain. They say, oh, the token is going to be used for gas fees, but there's no like burn mechanism. There's no deflationary measure. A lot of other projects do that, by the way, right? But Onyx is a little bit different. They're like, okay, maybe we don't burn 50% or whatever, but 10%, it's like a consolation prize. You know what I mean? Now, it's a little bit different. People like to say, oh, take a look at Avalanche. 100% of the transaction fees there are burned, like 100% of the gas fees, basically. Yeah, true, but Avalanche is a way bigger project than Onyx. And again, the fact that there's even 10% of it being burned when it comes to the gas fees in regard to Goliath, it's already a pretty major victory. Other projects out there simply wouldn't even do that. Getting even 1% sometimes is like already very lucky, you know? So even 10% is already pretty impressive. But I'm just saying, this is what I've noticed so far when it comes to Onyx. So when people like to tell me, wow, Onyx is done for, it's cooked and all this, seriously, this is a project that is currently ranked 150th in the world, by the way, within this space. It's top 10 in terms of the global trade and finance niche within this space, and it has around 147,000 holders approximately. So is that cooked? So if Onyx is cooked, does that mean projects that are ranked 151st and below, like, does it mean they're all cooked? It doesn't make sense, right? Let's just take a look at, for instance, what projects are actually ranked below, Onyx. Now, this is going to take quite a while, but what is ranked below Onyx as of right now? It's something called Arweave. Arweave is a very massive project that's focused on data storage. Is that cooked? A lot of people would say, no, it's not cooked. But yet, that's ranked below Onyx. So if Arweave isn't cooked, how come Onyx is suddenly cooked? How does that make sense? In my opinion, right? Did you know that Onyx recently got listed on Upbit? Keep in mind, Upbit, it's one of the top spot exchanges out there in the world, right? And at least that's according to CoinMarketCap. So we're not talking about a project here that seems to be irrelevant. Yes, it's having a pullback, but that could be said with so many other projects out there. Even Bitcoin's having a pullback. So what, Bitcoin is cooked? You know what I mean? A lot of people would say no. So again, when it comes to something in the case of Onyx, I think sometimes its pullback is largely overblown because they like to say, oh, it's doing so bad. But a lot of other projects are also doing bad. But I'm saying, however, here's the thing. It could be viewed as in a dual perspective, in my opinion, because Onyx having a market cap as of right now of around $180 million, what that only means is that it's around 5 times lower than its peak last year, than basically the peak of 2025, right? In which case it reached around $1 billion in terms of market cap. Now, that could be viewed as a bad thing, I'm pretty sure, but also on the flip side, some people do view it as a hypothetical positive. It's like, sure, some people out there are selling their bicycle at a loss, but some people out there are acquiring that bicycle that they're selling. That's the thing. Some people out there are selling their real estate at a loss, but some people are acquiring that. Right? Some people out there are exiting Bitcoin, but some people out there are entering. There's 2 frames of minds. Warren Buffett, when he believed in Coca-Cola, I'm pretty sure some were exiting. When Berkshire Hathaway believed in Apple, I'm pretty sure some were exiting. That's the thing. It depends on the frame of mind. It's like also if people are exiting the S&P 500, some people are actually entering. So it depends. If my mindset is a week, 2 weeks, 2 months, 3 months, then I would not be in this space because we truly don't know what could happen in that short of a time frame, in my opinion. Now, sure, people like to say, well, this person said, if you just pull up a price chart, draw some random triangle, this and this, then you can know whatever. Well, how does that work, in my opinion? How? Let's just think about this logically. If I drew some random triangles on a price chart, just logically speaking, no matter what technical analysis I learned, no matter all this stuff I learned, do you think the market is suddenly going to care about what I have to do on that chart? Because a lot of these people, they're drawing one thing and then the other person is drawing a different thing. So what, suddenly the market is going to care about what they're drawing? Like, let's say in the case of if I did that, how does that make sense? You know what I mean? It's not like we're trying to engineer a vehicle and then let's say if the mathematics are all correct, then the vehicle can do this or do that. It's a bit different. This market, it tends to do whatever it wants to do. I can't control it. If I draw some random triangles on a price chart, I can't control that either. So I don't want to think about, oh, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Then yeah, of course I'd be upset at that point because then I'm trying to expect something to happen fast, but then it's actually not. I don't want that. My mindset is maybe years if I have to. And the reason why I put myself in that frame of mind is because if I come with a mindset of, oh wow, I'm only going to wait a couple months and then nothing happens, then I'm going to be really upset. But if I have this mindset where maybe it's years, then I don't mind waiting because my expectations were not so, I guess, ambitious to begin with, if that makes sense. So again, when it comes to me, I'm just holding. I'm dollar cost averaging once every approximately 30 days, and that's it. That's all I do. I mean, I don't have to believe in this though. I could believe in a bunch of other markets, but I'm just waiting. Like, I could believe in gold, silver, platinum, whatever. But I'm choosing to stay patient with this, and that's what I'm doing. But I'm not telling anyone to do anything. However, again, when they say we're not even halfway done with 2026 yet, that kind of gives me a clue that maybe they might be thinking about launching something else this year, or maybe announcing a partnership. Who knows? However, I'll be sure to keep everyone updated when it comes to that. So I want to say thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a very nice day. It's Lee the Captain. I'm out. Peace. Bye.